Hi class, we have the eighth lesson for height and distance. Today we have a question coming from angle of elevation and depression. All right, first of all, what do we understand by angle of elevation, angle of depression? Okay, before we go deeper into them, when we talk about elevation, angle of elevation, the angle is situated below the object. The angle is situated or is located below the object or below a particular location. Okay, when we say angle of depression, the angle is situated above the object or above a particular location. Okay, so we need to understand this. Now let us make an example here. Let's say once we talk about angle of elevation, think of it going to appear like this. Once we say angle of depression, think of it to appear like this. Now, if we say um, the angle of elevation, okay, let's just do this one so we don't spend more time. The angle of elevation of the top of a cliff, the angle of elevation of the top of a cliff. I just told you that angle of elevation, the angle is located below, the angle is located below what? The objects or below a particular location. So the angle of elevation, so since we say the angle is below, we can say here is the angle situated here. Okay. The angle of elevation of the top of a cliff. Angle of elevation, the angle is below a particular object or a particular location. But what is the location here? What is the object here? Top of a cliff. And this cliff is 15 meters high from a landmark. So we need to understand here. Angle of, I don't just want to solve the problem. I want, in the process of solving the problem, you understand angle of elevation, angle of depression. So the reason I'm taking my time. Okay, at the same time, I don't want the length of the video to go more, to take more time. Okay, the angle of elevation, generally when we talk about angle of elevation, the angle is below a particular object or a particular location. But you need to understand the position of that location or the position of that object. You also need to understand where that angle is, even when it is below. So the angle of elevation, generally the angle is below a particular object. So we are now tracing the object. We are now tracing the object or a location. Remember what I said? The angle of elevation, the angle is below a particular object or a particular location. Where the angle is, we don't know particularly where the angle is, but the only thing is it is below a particular object or a particular location. Let's continue reading the question. Okay, the angle of elevation of the top of a cliff. So meaning the location is what? Top of a cliff. So now we know we are dealing with a cliff. You see? Angle of elevation. The angle is below a particular object or a particular location. So what is the location and where is the angle exactly? So the angle of elevation of the top of a cliff. So the location is here. Sometimes they will mention an object. It is here. So the angle is below that location. Top of a cliff 15 meters high. And this cliff is 15 meters high. From a landmark, you will always see this one. From a landmark. And what I mean, not the landmark, from. So from means is where the angle is. The angle is where? From a landmark. So The angle is here on the land, a landmark, a particular point on the land. I hope this one is clear. I'll be solving more of elevation and depression so you get it well. The angle of elevation of the top. Most times, the object or the location is what they will mention before telling you where the angle is situated or where the angle is located. Then, the angle of elevation of the top of a cliff, which is 15 meters high, from a landmark is 60 degrees. So the angle of elevation is 60 degrees. How far is the landmark? Look at the landmark. How far is the landmark from the foot of the cliff? The part of the cliff that touches the ground is what we mean by foot of the cliff. The part of the tree that touches the ground is what we mean by the foot of the tree. The part of the wall that touches the ground is what we mean by the foot of the wall. So we understand this. How far is the landmark from the foot of the cliff? So we want to find this one here. So you can choose to give it any letter. Or if you want, you can say A, B, C. So once you say A, B, C, that means you want to find BC. But sometimes you can just look at it and say, well, let me indicate M or let me indicate X. It doesn't matter. So this is what we want to find here. We are given the angle, we know the opposite, we want to find out the adjacent. Why is this the adjacent? A vertical line and a horizontal line always form 90 degrees. Of course, here is a cliff. So between the given angle and the 90 degrees is where we get what? The adjacent. So the side facing the given angle is the opposite. So now we have opposite and adjacent. Opposite, adjacent. So we apply tan. Remember, SOHCAHTOA. Opposite, adjacent, OA. So we apply tan. So we say tan 60 degrees is equal to opposite, which is 15, over adjacent, which is BC. So we give this 1. Clear? So BC over 1 is BC. See what I'm doing. Denominator over denominator. But not this over this, but this over this. So if we say BC over 1, then we can say what? This over this. So 15 over tan 60. I hope it is clear. So now we say BC is 15 over. We would have used the calculator, but the thing is they want the answer to be in short form. So what is tan 60? Tan 60 is root 3 over 1, which is just root 3. So root 3. Tan 60 is root 3 over 1. So this is your result. If you want, you can rationalize it by saying times root 3 divided by root 3. So BC is equal to this times this is 15 root 3. Root 3 times root 3 is 3. Into itself 1. Into this is 5. So 5 root 3. Do not forget the unit of measurement, meters. So this is lesson 8, the first problem on the angle of elevation and depression. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to follow, like, share, and comment. See you in my next video.